Hello everyone, I'm glad to see all of the stakeholders were able to attend this presentation today. In this cost-benefit analysis, the question, should the Japanese government allow outside spectators to attend the Tokyo Olympics, is analyzed and assessed. To determine if the benefits of allowing outside spectators to attend the games outweighs the costs of a potential COVID-19 outbreak amongst residents of Japan, each needs to be assigned a monetary value. First, the potential revenue outside spectators would bring to Japan was calculated, and then the value of life for each resident of Japan was determined. Next, the global mortality rate from COVID-19 was used to determine how many residents of Japan would be impacted if an outbreak took place. The methodology cost-benefit ratio was utilized to determine whether the risk of an outbreak was worth the potential revenue of outside spectators. Should the Japanese government and Olympic Committee allow spectators from other countries attend the 2020 Summer Olympics in Tokyo? Olympic Games cost the host cities and countries a lot of money, but also provide opportunities for the host nation to benefit. Currently, the Japanese government and Olympic Committee are deciding if the benefits outweigh the potential costs of allowing people from outside of Japan to attend the Games due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Allowing tourists or spectators from other countries attend the Games will provide a benefit to the economy, but at the risk of spreading COVID-19 in Japan. The problem of not allowing outside spectators to enter the country is resulting in not enough spectators purchasing tickets and spending money at the event to the government of Japan. This is the problem statement that we analyzed. The methodology I used to conduct my analysis consisted of calculating all of the costs of the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, determining ticket sales, lost revenue from no outside spectators, and assigning a monetary value to the lives of Japanese residents. To calculate the net benefits, I estimated the ticket sale profits for outside spectators, number of outside spectators who would attend the event, and how much each spectator would spend while in Japan. I estimated 1 million spectators because 1.17 million tourists visited the Rio Olympics in 2016. I utilized the cost-benefit ratio formula. Return on investment is equal to net benefits divided by cost. The net benefits of allowing outside spectators equaled $4.4 billion, while the potential cost of a COVID-19 outbreak amongst Japanese residents was $27 trillion. Pros of the Japanese government allowing outside spectators include increased ticket sales, increased potential overall profits, increased spending, boost to the economy in hotels, restaurants, the sale of local goods, tourism and outside money, global perception, long-term positive impact. Pros of the International Olympic and Paralympic Committees allowing outside spectators include fan and athlete confidence for future Olympic Games, global perception and long-term positive impact. Family members of the athletes would be able to attend the Games. Cons for the Japanese government would be an increased risk of COVID-19 outbreak in residents of Japan, fewer tickets for residents of Japan, negative environment impact. Only residents of Japan are spending money, so no outside money would be coming in from tourists. Cons for the Olympic and Paralympic committees include less interaction, accessibility for fans from outside of Japan, less people viewing the broadcast of the Olympics, which is how these organizations make most of their money. This mind map outlines the three major stakeholders of the 2020 Tokyo Olympics and their subgroups. Each stakeholder plays a role in our situation, but Japan will have to make the final decision in regards to hosting outside spectators or not. My own biases in regard to the situation I am analyzing for this project include my love for the Olympics, my own thoughts about the COVID-19 pandemic, and my own bias towards what decision I believe should be made. My perspective could definitely have a major impact on my cost-benefit analysis. I'm the one and only person conducting the cost-benefit analysis, so my biases could easily appear in my final project unless I acknowledge them. By acknowledging my current biases towards the situation, I can hopefully limit the impact my own personal biases will have on the outcome of the project. My own biases could potentially impact the data I utilize in my report, along with how I frame the data or how I use the data to tell a story. I believe I can be objective, but since I'm the only person working on the project, I don't believe you can truly be objective. You would need to include other people to ensure all perspectives have a voice in the project and to limit bias. My own implicit biases could also be a factor because I might not be aware that I have them, but once again, since I am the only person working on the project, then they could impact the outcome. Bias and perspective could impact my project by me framing the data or research in a way to benefit my own agenda or what I believe to be the right decision in this specific situation. My cost-benefit analysis changes as I looked at it from different perspectives. For example, I am first looking at it from my perspective as a privileged white male who works in youth work, so I've already been provided both doses of the vaccine. I need to be aware of other perspectives, such as people who haven't had the opportunity to get the vaccine, or from the perspective of people living in Japan. I don't know anything about what people living in Japan have experienced during the past year and the impact COVID-19 has had on them because I don't live in Japan. I am also thinking from the perspective of a sports fan rather than as what is best for the people living in Japan in regards to dealing with a global pandemic. The risks I identified in my CBA project were safety, unknown conditions, local customs, and local law or government policy. Timing could also impact the risk on this project. These risks impacted my analysis because they are unknown variables. I can only estimate or predict how these risks will impact my cost-benefit analysis of the Tokyo Olympics. Throughout my analysis, I didn't know if the current policies in place would change, and depending on the timing of the Olympic Games, the Japanese government could change the restrictions to enter the country. With all of the unknown risk, it was difficult to estimate how many residents of Japan will attend the event and how many outside spectators from other countries would attend. Also, I don't know how people feel about the safety precautions in place and their own current thoughts on the pandemic, which impacts my estimates. Depending on the timing of the Olympics, the global perception of the COVID-19 virus could be different, and how many tickets are purchased would be impacted. The opportunities I identified in my CBA report were for the Japanese government to develop more partnerships and sponsors. Through my research, I realized host nations make most of their money back from partnerships and sponsors. Currently, Japan has the most in-country partnerships of any Olympics. If they reach out to sponsors from other countries, they have an opportunity to make even more money and possibly eliminate all of their current debt from hosting the Olympics. The Japanese government could also look into providing behind-the-scenes footage or access to fans via online services, since only residents of Japan will actually be able to attend the games. In 2020, the estimated cost for the government of Japan totaled $12.6 billion, but due to the Olympics being postponed for 1 year, the total cost increased by 22%, which resulted in an estimated local total cost of $15.4 billion. From Carlos Groman at Reuters.com and other sources, we determined that 7.8 million tickets were available to the public for all of the Olympic events combined in the dataset. It is estimated 4.48 million tickets have been sold to residents of Japan, which left 3.32 million tickets unsold. From numerous resources, the government of Japan estimated 800 million in total ticket sales. So to determine the average price per ticket, 800 million was divided by 7.8 million, which equaled $102.56. The average price per ticket was $102.56. Multiplying the 102 by the number of unsold tickets, 3.32 million, provided the estimated profits from outside spectator ticket sales. To estimate the amount of money each outside spectator would spend during their trip to Japan, we estimated the cost of housing, food, and other expenses. Next, we estimated 1 million spectators from outside of Japan would attend the event. 1 million spectators would spend $410 million in housing, food, and other expenses each day. From researching previous Olympic events, it is estimated each spectator spends 10 days at the Olympic Games. Multiplying 410 million by 10 days provides us with the estimated revenue outside spectators would spend while visiting another country for the Olympic Games. Our estimate was $4.1 billion. Adding the $3.4 million in estimated outsider ticket sales loss and the $4.1 billion outsiders were estimated to spend while in Japan, an estimated revenue loss from not allowing outside spectators equaled $4.44 billion. We estimated the benefits of allowing outside spectators to attend the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Below, we estimated the potential costs of allowing outside spectators to enter Japan during the COVID-19 pandemic. To estimate the potential costs of a COVID-19 outbreak occurring in Japan because of outside spectators attending the event, a value of life was estimated, $10 million per person. Currently, Japan has one of the lowest mortality rates due to COVID-19 in the world. If an outbreak occurred at the global mortality rate of 2.15%, with the Japanese population of 126.3 million people, then 2.7 million Japanese residents could potentially die. This would result in a cost of $27 trillion, which was the 2.7 million potential deaths multiplied by the 10 million value of life. A benefit cost ratio was conducted to compare the benefits and costs of the situation. Based on the data I have gathered, the Japanese government should not allow outside spectators to attend the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games. The Japanese government may lose money on the entire game since the cost of the event is estimated to be $15.4 billion. Allowing outside spectators to attend the event would result in an estimated revenue of $4.4 billion from those spectators alone. However, once you consider the value of life for each resident of Japan and the possibility of a COVID-19 outbreak at the global mortality rate, the estimated costs outweigh the estimated benefits by a large margin. The benefit cost ratio equaled 0.016%. In conclusion, the Japanese government should close their borders to outside spectators to prevent a potential COVID-19 outbreak amongst their residents. The Japanese government should allow residents of Japan to attend the Games so they can limit the amount of debt they will have after the completion of the Olympic Games. Based on my analysis, the potential value of life lost, $27 trillion, far outweighs the potential revenue from outside spectators of $4.4 billion. A benefit cost ratio was conducted to compare the costs and benefits analyzed in this project. A benefit cost ratio of 0.16% was determined. The BCR provides data to back the decision for Japan to not allow outside spectators to attend the Olympic Games. A few implementation challenges arose during our analysis. Notifying every country's sports federation of the decision, public perception and potential backlash, who will communicate the final decision. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I am available to answer any questions you may have.